What's going on, everybody? My guest today is my fight coach, Toby Grear. Toby is a successful Hollywood actor featured on the front page of the Los Angeles Times. He's a 3-time world champion in mixed martial arts, the owner of True Warrior Fitness, and an undefeated boxer. Appreciate you coming on the show, Coach.
Man, thank you.
Yeah, so I think the first thing, when I started working with you, I come in there like every guy with, I'm going to go kick some ass. I want to learn how to fight and all this kind of stuff. And the biggest thing I've learned from you guys who are real fighters is just how that's not how it is as a fighter, and how you've got such a more less ego than most guys have about this stuff, a lot more respectful. And it kind of leads me into, discussing, I guess, self-defense situations. Most guys have this thing in their mind of like, oh, somebody's going to corner me and I'm just going to kick his ass. And they've got this thing of like, the one-punch knockout kind of thing. In a self-defense situation, what is that really like? And then what should somebody really be doing in those kinds of situations? Because it's not at all what people think.
All right. First of all, I have one rule when I'm doing any kind of self-defense: never always.
Okay.
So if you find a coach that's always this or always that, there's no always in fighting. It's chaotic. There's so many different scenarios that can happen. But one of the biggest things about self-defense is, and some people don't think about this, is the best way to win a fight is what? The only way to win a fight.
Avoid it.
Mm-hmm. So the idea there is, in a self-defense situation, before you even say, hey, do I strike the groin, poke the eye, before you even get that point, the moment of self-defense comes when you can de-escalate.
Okay.
Does that make sense? So in a self-defense situation, what you want to establish first is, what's their motivation? If their motivation is safety or significance, it's pretty much what humans do everything in their life for, one of those two reasons. What I mean by that is, if you have a self-defense situation, they're attacking you. If they're doing it for safety, that means they think they're threatened, or they think that they can steal something from you that's going to make their life safer. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's kind of safety. That's what we talk about, the safety perspective. Then you have significance. Those guys or women who start a fight or a self-defense situation for significance. Those are the dangerous ones. A lot of times you got the guy at the bar that's drunk. He's trying to be significant. You have the TRT dad at the baseball game.
Yeah, you're telling me about that.
Yelling at the ref. He's looking for significance. Or, you have and this is another scenario, you have the tweaker outside of the restaurant. They don't realize it, but they're attacking you, yelling at you because they're looking for that little bit of significance they're not getting in your life.
Interesting.
And that person right there happens to be it. So the most important thing about self-defense in a self-defense situation is establishing their motive.
Okay.
Is it for significance or safety? And then based on that, then I go this way, I go this way. Same thing in the jiu-jitsu. It's a chess match. You start that chess match, if I can figure out what their motivation is, then I know which way I need to go to de-escalate or stop that self-defense situation.
Okay. So let's say they are looking for significance. Okay. How are we handling that kind of situation?
So those ones where we can get them significance by a few different ways. All right. The last way we want to give them significance and let them go hands-on with us. Okay. What they're doing if they're looking for significance, give me a scenario.
Let's say you're at a bar. There's a guy who's like, he's had too many to drink, and now he wants to look like the shit in front of his friends. So
I grew up in Ohio. I went to a private university, University of Dayton, a big drinking school.
Okay.
As the sober person there, I was the guy, the little blonde guy at the end of the bar. At the end of the night, if you weren't going home, if you weren't going home with somebody, you were there to F or to F.
Yeah.
One of those F words.
Yeah.
All right. And if they weren't there, if they didn't find somebody to F by 2 a.m., then they wanted to fight.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of situations where I was that guy at the end of the bar, where they come up or whatever, and you just had to get their moment of significance. So a lot of ways that would de-escalate. Sometimes humor would de-escalate. Okay. I look up at them, man. If you were 2 feet taller, I would whoop your ass. Things like that. You know what I mean? A guy pulled a knife on me next to a pool table in Dayton, Ohio.
Okay.
And he started flipping it around, looking at me and flipping it around, and I had a feeling took a stretch. Are you Filipino? Walked up to him and said that. He was so impressed about this culture. I was like, I could tell by your knife skills. Started showing off for me. By the end of the night, we're friends. So that's the idea, is how do I give them that feeling of significance? Now you have that TRT dad at the baseball field.
Right, yeah.
His significance comes from him letting his son know that he's protecting him, letting all the fans know that he's no more than that.
Right,
That's how. So that scenario of significance is more dangerous, because then you have a self-defense situation with multiple people. So that's the idea. There's so many different scenarios, but figuring out why are they doing it. If they're doing that significance, for me, Those are a little bit of tougher ones. If they're doing it for safety, cool.
Yeah.
You come up, you put a gun in my face. You want my wallet? Cool.
Uh-huh.
What do you need? Here's my cool. Here's my my phone. Oh no, it's insured. For $150, I'm getting a new one.
Yeah.
What do you need? So that's a little bit different. You know,
Okay.
those scenarios there. So when you're looking for a self-defense situation or involved in it, what does the attacker get to pick?
They get to pick how they first strike?
Time and place.
Okay.
Attacker gets to pick time and place.
True.
Self-defender gets to pick how ready we are.
Interesting. Yeah, I like this. So you're really going into it. You've got no ego involved, right? It's like, how can I'm going to try and give you a win so that I can avoid this bad situation, because the worst thing that can happen really is just getting in a fight. Because best case scenario, you just whoop the guy's ass. You maybe have to do a police report. Maybe you've done too much damage. Maybe you hurt yourself. Like, there's so many things that can go wrong in that. And it's so, it's just interesting to me, because just the perception around fighting and all that would be like just from people who don't know how to do it at all, it's this like show-offy kind of thing. But the people like yourself and just people I've met since joining the fight gym and stuff, they have none of that. They're so like, it's like you were even talking about, I thought it'd be interesting to talk about how fighters don't even want to fight.
No. Let me
Explain this.
Let me put it a different way. Fighters, the greatest fighters in the world, hate fighting.
Okay.
Hate it.
Love
everything that happens up to that.
Okay.
That walk from the cage or the back area to the cage is spectacular. That's probably one of my favorite moments. Singing to the music, knowing that everything's been done. Right when you get to that cage door, now, in my opinion, it's done. So that's the idea. Once we step in there, we don't want to sit in there. We don't want to fight 35 minutes, 25 minutes. I want to get in there and get out.
Okay.
Learn to hate fighting. And the same thing with a self-defense situation. I want to walk in from my dressing room to the cage, walk in, hit him with one punch, and go home. That's how much I hate fighting.
Yeah.
And so you apply that to your self-defense situation on another level. I'm looking at, let me go over a scenario. My dog's off leash. Let's say I bring my dog to Lowe's and there's a 60-year-old man there who doesn't appreciate me having my dog off leash and wants to give me a piece of his mind. And I don't respect him and give him the respect, significance that he wanted in line at Lowe's. So next thing you know, he's right here in my face screaming and yelling, if that dog wasn't here, blah, blah, blah. He does not realize that I have nothing to prove.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest thing that we talk about ego.
Yeah.
We have an ego. We have an ego that makes us think that I know I'm greater than every other mixed martial arts athlete that walks in the cage. John Jones, I know he's not going to see this, but if you see this, hook it up. I'd fight John Jones. That's the joke. I have nothing to lose.
Yeah.
That would be, why would I be doing that? Significance. Does that make sense? So, and there's a little bit together. So if I was to fight John Jones, it would never happen. But let's say I was to fight John Jones. Why would I do that? As a 155-pounder who hasn't fought in 10 years?
Sure.
For two reasons. Safety, because I get a lot of money. So I'd be a little bit safer. When I say safer, that means, to me, safety is, having the ability to stay safe, stay fed, stay happy. Now we're looking at, it's definitely significance. I would love to have even a fight against John Jones. I mean, just saying, I fought John Jones. Yeah. I would not hate that fight. That makes sense? He would not hate it either. One punch or two, or a spinning back kick. But that's the idea, is the best fighters in the world hate fighting. We hate it because that's what we teach our students. I want to teach my students to hate fighting. I want you to hate fighting. I want you to hate the fact that you're in a self-defense situation. The testament to this, our athlete Jonathan. Our athlete Jonathan had 2 spectacular fights. He loved fighting. Yeah. Fight number 3, he fought a kid, very good kid, sharp kid, and it was hard. You know what Jonathan hated after that 3rd fight?
What?
Fighting.
Oh, really?
Yes. So now Jonathan went into his fight this weekend, hating fighting, fought on Saturday, hated that fight more than any other fight he's hated, and now he shows up at the gym Monday. How do I get better?
Awesome.
So he hates the fight. We hate the fight. What we do is love the growth.
Okay.
Yeah, the growth is why we are mixed martial artists.
Okay.
Our ability to grow is why we do this. So it's about the growth, not damage, not tearing us down. And in jiu-jitsu, that's what we're doing. We're trying to grow. We're trying to get better. We're trying to get better at everything. So, yeah.
That's awesome. So there's so many different ways to grow, and yet there's something obviously that appeals to people about fighting, obviously to yourself and even to me at this point. Like, what do you think it is, if you hate the fighting, what is it that gets you in the door to begin with this? Like, for you, what was it that got you into
significance? 110%. Okay. I played water polo in college. I got bored. And the idea is, how did I find water polo? I didn't play it in high school. I did water polo for 2 years. 2 years, getting up at 7, University of Dayton. It was great. We got third in the nation my freshman year. I was the only freshman that got in the last game. It was just one of those magical moments. I was tired of getting up doing the swimming. I literally, this teacher a lot, got the phone book out, went, what can I do next? What can I do next?
No way.
If Y was before M, I would be a yogi and not a martial artist.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
No way.
So that's the idea. I walked in, started there. I wanted to do jiu-jitsu. Saw this guy named Christian Tolek. I said, whatever that is. He's over there in the corner in front of the mirror, just jumping rope, shadow box. Like somebody's drenching him with water. 6'3", African man, just looks scary. I was like, whatever that is, I want that.
Okay.
So then I started doing Muay Thai, and that's kind of where it came from. I started doing Muay Thai, and I'm in college. I was an athlete all my life. So I was doing it just to fight. I was doing amateur fights everywhere for significance. That's it. Then you hit that point. It's like, I want to cross over to that safety and significance. What does that mean? I go from amateur to pro.
Okay.
If I just want to do it, I want significance. I want a bunch of amateur belts. There's a bunch of fighters out there. A bunch of amateur belts, they call themselves champions, and they're amateurs. They're not really fighting even for a championship, but the kiss of death for a pro career is amateur titles. One,
because nobody wants to fight you when you go pro, right?
It's a combination of two things. Your first few fights are going to be so much tougher because they look at you as this decorated amateur.
Right.
And then your brain, you're going to your first fight, you're a nobody. And if you can't convince yourself you're a nobody who can beat anybody, then you have no chance. That's what it's about.
Okay.
If I fight up, like I'm a nobody, but I know I can beat somebody. Now I'm going to the fight thinking I'm somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Thinking I'm going to beat somebody because somebody blew some smoke up and said, hey, you're a champion. No, it's amateur. So that's the point where you go, okay, I'm making the shift from significance to safety. I want to go pro. I want to start a family.
Okay.
At 25, I went pro. I had 17 pro fights in a span of 3.5 years.
Jeez.
I fought in Osaka, Japan. I fought 2 pro boxing fights. I fought mixed martial arts for 3 world titles, world title in mixed martial arts also, or Muay Thai. So that was kind of like, okay, that's where my road. Once I decided to go pro and go, okay, now I'm being a professional instead of an amateur, that means I made that change over to go, hey, I think I could be safer in life. Not necessarily, I've always felt safer in a man-to-man situation, mano-a-mano, hand-to-hand. But the idea is we make that jump because so did all that, and then I fought on the UFC Spike TV in 2010.
Okay.
Any athlete happens, you have so much control over everything. There's one thing you can't control. Your body. So I had hip surgery last April after 11 years of waiting. So that was my wait. Now I'm thinking about, now I have promoters looking for opponents for October.
Yeah, you were telling me about that.
So I think that's the next step. What's the point for me doing that?
Is that a significance thing at this point?
Significance at this point. Because
Prove
they
it
say
to
if you have
yourself.
enough money to do anything you want in life and you still do this, that's what you love.
Yeah.
For me, it's not just significance, but I guess now it's into that safety because now I have a new Muay Thai gym. I opened a Muay Thai gym in downtown Mooresville 3 months ago, True Warrior Fitness. Now I have a reason to fight again. I didn't have a reason to fight for 8 years after I left Southern California. I have to promote my gym. At least that's what I'm convincing myself.
Yeah.
Just don't tell my brother or my mom. The look on their face, I'll tell them they're fighting. My brother, last time, he says this, just think about your niece and nephew and you watching you do that. And I was like,
that'd be cool.
yeah, I know, right? Oh,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Let me think about it. So I did a pro boxing fight when I got back to here. I had fought in years.
When was that?
3.5 years ago in
Okay.
Rock Hill, and that was so everybody could see me. I gave my opponent $500 to fight me after
No
the
way.
fight, just to thank him. They got paid $1,000 to show up. 5 and 5 is normal. I got paid thousands of dollars when I was in LA. So when I came back here, I was like, hey, I'll do a pro boxing fight in Rock Hill against somebody. And I got the highlights, I got the fun, and we're talking about it now. But it was also, I wanted to just, see if I still had it.
Yeah.
So I still got one of those in. So, yeah.
Yeah, we got it. I mean, that credibility. I mean, like, there's certain coaches in our town who don't have that level of credibility, who like to pick fights and things like
don't
that.
go there.
Yeah,
It's too soon.
We're not
Too
gonna go
soon.
there.
Too
But
soon.
yeah, that's is when you go pro. Is that when you really make that switch from significance to safety?
Yeah.
In mentally, like you're not looking for you want to get the fight over with. You're here for business now. It's not really a pride thing anymore.
So now here's the irony.
Okay.
The irony is in the fight game, in the sports entertainment world, what do I need to make money? Significance. So now, your rise, you have to become significant in a sport to get that. Does that make sense? So it's the same thing in anybody's job. You're searching, seeking, but right now, the significance is within area a sport. So like Jonathan, our fighter who fought this weekend, he lost. Okay, so he lost. He's 3-1 as an amateur. So he lost his first amateur fight. Got very emotional after. I'd never seen this emotion, and it got to me. All right, I did a chat GPT. I said, analyze all my past prompts to see if I'm a narcissist based on previous relationships. Because I was like, man, maybe they're right.
Yeah.
They're not. Right? It went through and it found that as an extreme empath.
Okay.
Yeah, and some of the behaviors that I exhibit seem narcissistic.
That's when the empath is when you empathize really deeply with people, right?
Yeah, and really feel with people. Like I realize that when you pick your eyes or you do your eye contact, my eyes start watering. It's just one of those things. Yeah, when I see somebody get eyes, my eyes start watering.
Interesting.
So it's one of those things. I'm being told by former relationships, hey, you're a narcissist. I was like, man, maybe
I'm an empath.
No, I'm an empath. No, well, what's up?
Yeah.
Well, what's up?
Yeah.
So, but all joking aside, so that's my biggest thing is really getting in there and figuring out how I can help people. You know, that's why we're there. I'm there, like you said. People come to me for safety and significance. You know, that significance comes from an inner significance. They know that they can do something. That's one thing too, is I'm challenging them. Boxing's a challenge, not just skill-wise. We have hard classes. I push people to their physical and mental limit because we change the set of techniques every week. We do a different set here. 1 week, I got it. Next week, we're not doing anything the same.
Yeah.
Then 3 or 4 weeks, we come back. So that's kind of how we challenge our students to try and make them a little bit better. So,
how do you develop that mental toughness in people? Is it innate, or do you feel like it's something everybody just has to develop? And if so, like, what do you do to make that help somebody become mentally tough?
It's all psychology. You know, I went to University of Dayton, graduate marketing and psychology degree, and it helps. It helps a lot. I took a class in London in 2001 called Groupthink by a professor who wrote a book on how to become a lie detector. And let me tell you this: we want to talk about that. Let's just offshoot because there's one thing that, as a trainer, as a coach, as a mentor, one of the most important things that you need to know is when someone's lying to you or telling you the truth. And a lot of people skip over that. A lot of part of that is I need to look at you, and as your mentor, you're going to lie to me. Why? Because you're lying to yourself a lot.
Oh, yeah, true. Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
So some of the things that I like to do is understand the micro expressions, everything. There is a language to lying. It's like Spanish to me. It's like Spanish and English. I don't speak Spanish. All right, go. But lying is a language to me. There's people use a totally different set of words.
Right.
Their face does a totally different thing. Like monumental. Just the word placement, the timing, the cadence. So that's one of the weird things. To be a good leader, sometimes you got to learn to read people. When people are lying to you, they're going to lie to you in business. They're going to lie to you about their goals. They're going to lie about, did you do your jump rope? You know what I mean? I can ask you, do you have your mouthpiece in right now? Yes or no?
Right.
Did you do your jump rope? Yeah. Did you do your kettlebell? Yeah. Jonathan, did you do everything that you needed to do that I told you for the last year to win that fight? Yes, I did, coach. After an hour and 15-minute drive back. And my notes, which had 21 points of contention, he did not do everything he needed. But AI figured out we did it. We have I have a note-taking app. We got an hour and 15-minute conversation. So that's kind of like the idea of what we're doing in trying to make people better. I'm going to make them better. How do I push through? How do I make them stronger? Give them to me as a kid. Give me your 6-year-olds. Give me your 8-year-olds. Give me your 10-year-olds. I just had a kid yesterday, Dan, who started bawling because he got hit knee in the face. I went down on my knees. I said, breathe. Just breathe. He wanted to leave the cage. He wanted to get out of that situation. Just breathe. I'm here. I'll wait for you. Look him right in his eye. He needs that now to know that he has that power. I have moments with those kids, my kids all the time. Does that make sense? With Jonathan, I've never seen Jonathan that upset. I saw the tears in his eyes. And what he needed, someone said, no. I said, quote, I don't remember.
Yeah.
No. No. No.
Yeah.
No. And sometimes you just need someone you trust to tell you no. Get out of that mindset. You're greater than you feel right now. And sometimes telling people that, if they trust you, I can do it. The people that don't trust me don't trust themselves, haven't trusted people before. So that's the cool thing about once you get in the gym, once you're one of my fighters and you win, you trust me. If I tell you, put this glass on your head, walk around the gym 16 times, and then sing a Christmas carol. You know what Jonathan's doing on Monday?
He's doing it.
Yeah. So that's the idea. So building
awesome.
that trust is the first and most important thing to developing that tiger heart mentality within my students.
Okay.
Helping them discover and develop their true warrior within comes from them, one, trusting my ability to help them, and two, them trusting that what? What's that trust mean? They have to trust that I have their best interest in mind, because they've had so many people all their life look at them and say, what can I do for you? Meanwhile, they go, what can I get out of you?
Yeah.
When you walk into my gym for 2 decades, I will look at you in the eye and I'll go, I will give you everything you give me. I've got a couple current world champions. I've got 11 people in this world with my logo tattooed on their body.
Really?
Yes, 11.
No kidding.
Yeah. Something about that fork in the road when they hit me.
Right.
I wasn't even the first one. Yeah, Sean Harmon, a famous actor. His dad's on NCIS. Sean Harmon comes in, shows it to me, and I go, you're an effing idiot. But that's cool.
Yeah.
And then I was the second one. I got real hair on my thumbs. It's tiny. See it? It's tiny.
No kidding.
So that way when I'm texting or when I'm driving, the True Warrior Army is always on my mind. All day, every day. Does that make sense? So that's the idea is I've dedicated my life to helping other people find their true warrior within. That's what I've done. Now, what's my stage? What's my platform? Mixed martial arts. One of the most challenging things that we've had. Why? Because everybody wants to feel safe. I want to walk out of the movie theater and go, you know what? If it's 2 or 3, I'm okay. 5, it'd be fun. I'm going viral.
Yeah.
1,
don't try me. Yeah.
Don't, please.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
Yeah. 3, that's fun. 5, I'm going viral. I ain't winning. I'm not losing that fight.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I already got it planned out. Boom, you. I might use you to get you. We're doing it. I've already done it. And you'll see sometimes in the gym, we did that to get Jonathan ready for this fight.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, you were there.
I was there. Yeah.
Yeah, you were one of the athletes beating up on Jonathan. You had 5 guys on him at once. You learn how to fight 5 people. One guy gets a little bit easier. So that's the idea. Plus, you might be in that scenario. You know. So that's the idea. You know, where I'm in there trying to grow people. You know, I'm trying to help them establish growth by challenging them. But challenge them is only successful if they're challenged by somebody they trust. And that's what a good coach is. A good coach can look at you and say what needs to be said because you believe and they believe that it's going to make you a better person. Some coaches say things for themselves. Some coaches, like you can always see a coach that doesn't know what he's talking about when he's in the corner yelling things to motivate his fighter. Go, you gotta go, do this, go harder, instead of just
it's not tactical
speaking technique. There's one local trainer, I'm not gonna name any names, he actually tells his athletes not to look their opponent in the eyes. I've heard him during fights go, look him in the chest, look him in the chest, look him in the chest. Lake Norman Muay Clown. All right? But we don't need his name there. So it's a clown school, you know, and that's what you get. You get a small town like this that doesn't have a big martial arts program. One clown can open up a gym and everybody thinks that's Muay Thai. It's not. Now we have a guru. We have Crew Mel, and he's a guru, man. I got hairs. I finally have a mentor. You know, after 2 decades of running True Warrior Fitness, I started in 2004. I got a mentor. And the way this man speaks, he said, first night 1, he said something that was good. Blew my mind. He talked about what I just shared with you. He talked about how important it was to not think in fighting. He said the time it takes for that to go from your eye to your brain is too much time in a fight. And I was like, it's everything. That's it. I don't need to react. I just, you know.
Just do.
It's do. And it was, he said it in a way where it was like, I have a mentor, hired, boom. Yeah, so that was one of the things. And that's kind of, at least in this area, we're going to be the biggest, baddest Muay Thai gym in this area. I'm going to lead it. Because there's no other Muay Thai gyms in the area that have a pro fighter. Even if they've been open for 8 years. Imagine that. Imagine having a school. Your goal is to grow and be the greatest you can. And in 8 years, you haven't produced one professional.
Really?
Yeah. So you got to think. So what's the motivation of that gym owner? Safety or significance?
Safety?
That's it.
Okay.
He said,
money.
I'll take that. I'll take that. Oh, you're fighting for me, representing me. You're risking life and limb. You got that $150 membership you're supposed to pay me. You know what I mean? It's crazy to me. Walking them out in their gear, walking them out in his kit, in his shorts. The man who owns the gym in their shorts, and they're still paying gym dues. Yeah, here, let me use you like a little puppet, but then still make you pay gym dues. But again, that's the thing. It's all safety. I'm in a significance run. That's what makes me most dangerous right now.
Okay.
When I was in Los Angeles, I had the biggest, baddest gym in LA. Biggest. Randy Couture, George St. Pierre, Andre Arlovsky. I could name a whole bunch. I could name drop all day. That's who trained around me. That's who. Shanji Hibera was my black belt. He's the greatest one, if not one of the greatest jiu-jitsu practitioners to walk this earth. For 2 years, I was writing him checks. I was paying him. He was my black belt on staff. So that's the idea. It's like, now I'm here. Now I'm a realtor. Now I do business marketing. Now my side gig happens to be opening and running the best and biggest and baddest Muay Thai school in North and South Carolina. And you know what I'm going to do?
What?
I'm going to do that.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. What does true warrior mean to you? Because you've got it tatted on you. There's multiple people who've done it. I've never asked this. I honestly just didn't think much about the name. What does that mean to you? What's it about?
2003. 2003, I think, no, we're going to go back. Let's go back. 2001. 2001, I studied abroad in London. All right. So I studied abroad in London. And at that time, my Eric Dahl, my roommate, college roommate, my best friend still, he was a DJ in college. So we had turntables in our living room. We were roommates. And so when I went over there, I did the club scene. It's the birthplace of house music. Well, Detroit actually, but it was the growth of house music over there. Places like the Ministry of Sound. There's places that I went where it was like a pilgrimage of of dance music. So I did that when I was over there, and I would take a notebook and a pen. And I would go there because all the other students, they wanted to go to the bars, they wanted to do whatever. I trained Muay Thai until 10 o'clock in Tottenham, which is like Compton.
Right.
I tell people now, I took the tube to Tottenham and went and trained. They'd be like, by yourself? Like, yeah. So looking back, I'm like, yeah, I guess. But I'm also the guy on the subway with the boxing gear and the Muay Thai gear and my gloves outside. I'm not the guy you're like, hey, let's go pick on that guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're not going to get a lot of significance. So, yeah. So the true warrior idea, the mentality, it used to be true warrior mentality. So if you look at the logo, TWM, True Warrior Mentality Training.
Okay.
So that's why you see TWMT. Now, the bottom part happens to be, and I'm letting you guys know who have this tattooed on you. All right. You got my college symbol, which is a Marianist symbol. All right. So the Marianist symbol is a cross with an M. The Marianists we're a group of Catholics that revere Mary as having a very significant role in the whole idea. So so my college was a Marianist college. So the logo, the bottom half of the logo is what's on my college ring. And then I just added a T to the top. TW. Does that make sense? But if you take off the TW, that's my college design. But it fits. And now what that is too, we can put it up, but it's all the angles of the strikes. So you see how it looks like.
Oh, yeah, you were telling me that,
That's a point. Those are points of strikes.
Okay.
So that way you can look at it and always remember to keep straight and you have the lines. Yeah. Okay. So that's kind of the idea behind the logo. But the idea behind the True Warrior is I believe that everybody has a true warrior within. They don't all have the option or the opportunity to discover it and develop it. That's what I do. Come to my space. We're gonna discover and develop the true warrior within, a true warrior fitness, because I know it's in there. And I know that if you trust me, and when I say that speech, I'll give you everything you give me, you're going to find it. That's it. And there's no, maybe, no. You show up, you trust me, you're going to find your true warrior within. How do I know? I'm 2 decades in.
Yeah.
2 decades in. I've got clients since I've been here 5 or 6 years. United States Marine, a doctor, a nurse, an eye surgeon. These are people who, pay me $85 to hang out with them for an hour. That means they're doing good in life, but more importantly, they're doing in life, but they come in all the time and tell me, man, this has changed the trajectory of my life. My days are so easy. That makes sense? Like a Recon Marine, he's one of the top Amazon sellers in the world. He comes in 2 days a week. We sparred yesterday. It makes sense? We fought yesterday. And nothing over the weekend, nothing's going to bother him. The funny thing is, we talked about this. He's going to travel baseball. Okay. Travel baseball, all the TRT dads. So I said, look, man, man.
Uh-huh.
You got it out here. All right.
Mm-hmm.
There was always one on his team. There's always that one dad that everybody wants to talk to, but aren't sure who's going to talk to him. Mike wants to be that guy. We had a conversation about it. I said, Mike, just let me show up. Just give me the address. I'll wear the jersey of the other team, whatever you need, man. I'll go fully undercover. You know what I mean? Just to put a wall, because he's on edge. Mike's the protector. That's what he does.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So that's kind of like, we talk about that, the TRT dads, this phenomenon of these TRT dads getting in fights at ball games and getting in fights for their kids because they don't understand their hormones their levels are too high. These doctors are prescribing, they're 45, they're jacked, they don't work out, so they don't release. And that's another thing about our gym. If you're doing that TRT treatment, a lot of these guys aren't pumping weights. They're not using it wisely. So that hormone levels is not healthy. They're not getting that, I won't say it, but they're not getting that rage out. That makes sense? So it keeps in and it goes on at the ball field here. Come to True Warrior Fitness, punch something with a bunch of people who have the same idea, want to get better, get stronger, and get it out of your system. Does that make sense? It's just one of those things. So that's kind of like the phenomenon today. It's like these guys, their hormonal levels, they're not sure how to handle it. And then looking back, I know these guys are looking at that camera going, that was not me 5 years ago. You know, that was not me 10 years ago. I would never have done that before I started TRT treatment. You know what I mean? I know these guys think that because it's so out of character. They didn't get that far doing that well to lose it over a 9-year-old getting a bad call. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like you're doing travel baseball. You got a lot of money. You can pay a lot of money to do this and that. Why are you yelling at a ref? Why are you yelling at 9-year-olds? You know what I mean? When they have a bad play. They aren't even your kids.
Right.
Yeah. But there you go. It speaks to what? That level, hey, significance. That dad wants to feel significant. Not only, here's what gets dangerous. The problem with that is, let's say you go to that guy outside, that guy at the bar. He wants to feel significant, and this is another thing that's important when you're defining that self-defense situation. Are they here for safety or significance? That significance is more dangerous based on the audience.
Okay. So if there's people around, then they want to look significant.
The guy at the bar who wants to fight. Couldn't find a lady to go with him at night. You tell him he's funny. Man, you're tall. Man, you're look, what do? Do you lift? Did you play football in high school? And he starts talking about you got the guy, the soccer dad, whose son and wife are standing there, and he already started yelling, and he's to finish the job for his ego. Those are the dangerous ones. That's why you get parents fighting groups of parents on a field, because now their audience has now dictated the level to which they will take it. That makes sense. So the crazy tweaker outside that restaurant when you walk out, that one's either left or right. They're more or less likely to touch you or grab you or do something. They want attention. They want to tell you the story, or we call it, in LA, we call it crack theater. You heard that?
No, I haven't heard that. Okay.
Crack theater.
Okay.
You go in the corner. Hey, I've been here for 3 different days. I just come off a bus. My mama died from cancer yesterday, and my dog's in the car and hasn't eaten in 3 days. You got to die. You're like, yeah, that's crack theater. So that's what so you have to kind of gauge, are they going to demand $1, or are they just going to be crazy, telling you about their crazy life and then ask for $1? So that's what we're talking about, these self-defense situations. It's based on those 2 factors. And then after those 2 factors come in, and then the safety side, let's say the safety side. Let's say you walk out and you have somebody who has no money, has nothing, been drinking a little bit, they have nothing. Does that make sense? They're likely to do something crazy. You know what I mean? And then you have people who have nothing and think they get $1 million off of one. They're based on their audience, they're willing to do much more. That makes sense? Because the people who are doing it for safety don't want anybody to know they're doing it. Almost. Makes sense? People who are doing it for significance want everybody to know. So it's that totally different motivation.
Right.
So every self-defense situation is significantly different. So one woman who came to me, Susan, years ago, she was at South Park Mall, 2 p.m., putting bags in her car. She had a big diamond on. 2 guys come over, boom, hit her from behind. And then she tries to fight. The guy drags her, gets her ring, gets her bags, gets out of there. She makes the news. She calls me. Yeah, it's when she met me. But that's the idea. Those guys wanted in and out. Their safety was getting her money so they could change it for something else. So that was it. She did what? She forgot for just a moment. She felt safe. Moment of complacency. So that's it. So if you want to talk about self-defense, the moments of complacency are what cause it. All right. So we talk about this. There's lots of different opportunities. So you talk about how many different ways, opportunities for attackers.
How many different opportunities?
Yeah, I mean, we talk about all day, right? Everywhere you go.
Right, yeah.
What are some places where you should be most careful? Parking lots.
Okay, yeah.
ATMs or
Sure.
yeah. All right. What else? Gas stations.
Okay, gas stations. Yeah.
Sidewalks.
Okay.
Everyone-
Sidewalks. Interesting.
Sidewalks. Why is sidewalk? Any place like this, attackers looking for two things:
Okay.
easy in, easy out. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Gas station, easy in, easy out. ATM, accessory to mugging, we call it, easy in, easy out.
Mm-hmm.
Parking lot, big open area, late at night, easy in, easy out. So those are the points those are the places where you have to be hyper aware.
Mm-hmm.
Even on the sidewalk, you're like, oh, well, on the sidewalk. I could send you hundreds of videos of people at Venice Beach, people all over, just walking normal. And somebody just, boom. All right. You know how I know?
How?
It happened to me.
Oh, really?
That tooth is fake.
No kidding.
I've been in one self-defense situation in my entire life. It was about 3.5 years ago. My original Muay Thai trainer had a heart attack. I flew out to LA, 7 o'clock on a Saturday. I'm walking, just enjoying life. There's a kid coming on a skateboard yelling, "White power." I was like, okay, I'm just going to ignore him, whatever. As soon as he gets right here, I'm talking the entrance of Venice, this very famous place where all the canals are painted, there's sunglasses. There are hundreds of people around. I just walked out of dinner. It's a Saturday. It's 7 o'clock. The sun's not setting. I'm walking, holding my boat bag. I hear this. Remember, I hear skateboard flip, white power. He punched me around here, punched me from behind, knocked this tooth out.
What the
Knocked
fuck?
it out.
That's crazy.
But that happens all day, every day at Venice Beach. All day, every day at Venice Beach. Listen to me. I lived there for 13
Jeez.
years. I've seen it all day, every day at Venice Beach. You are subject to a crazy person just walk by and just happened to me. Why?
Why? Because
Let
you're
my guard
complacent.
down.
Yeah.
The one time, 43 years old,
Just do
42
one
years
time.
old,
Yeah. Yeah.
42 years old.
Mm-hmm.
All right, former world champion. Teach people self-defense, and here I am, knocked my tooth out. I put my tooth immediately in my pocket. And I look at him, and he drops his skateboard and starts squaring up at me.
No way.
And he goes, because he thought he was going to knock me out. I mean, I don't know how he didn't. My teeth went through my face. I mean, full on, and his knuckles cut right there. So there I am. So there, he hit me. I didn't fall over. I put my tooth in my mouth right away, or right in my pocket. Just
Right.
I was like, and then I grab a skateboard and I go, I'm holding a skateboard, just like calm. I mean, when I say calm, like he never hit me. And that's when he started saying, that's when the fear kicked in. And he goes, yo, homie, you squared up with me. You squared up with me. Like saying, no, you started it. And I was like, okay, fine. I didn't say a word because I didn't want to see my tooth gone. So I just invited him to take a skateboard. Then a bunch of his buddies start yelling because nobody saw the first punch. Nobody, it wasn't like a screaming match or whatever.
Yeah.
Just holding a skateboard. Just come get it.
Uh-huh.
So, you know what I mean?
What happened with that?
He got away. You want me to tell you why?
Why?
I wasn't doing enough gi jujitsu.
No, really?
Yes.
Okay.
I go to grab him. It's gonna give me chills. I go to grab him. Pull his shoulder away. He got away.
Oh, really?
My bag was behind me and I couldn't run. My passport, everything. If I would have done this, I might be in prison right now. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
The difference of training these drills allowed him to get away. I didn't have to hurt him. I had my tooth in my pocket. I could have just let him go. But that moment, I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to hold this guy here. I'm going to keep him here. I might kill him. You know what I mean? Just knock my tooth out.
Yeah.
But because I didn't do this, I wasn't doing enough gi work at that time. Now I do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he got away. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That silver lining is what?
Always be vigilant for sure.
Not only that, the way I look at it, and again, this is maybe my extreme empath coming through, I was the buffer for somebody.
Oh, so you went for you instead of somebody else.
Some German tourist just out there, just enjoying his time, looks like me, just doing this, walking the same way I'm walking, could have been that guy. And he could have knocked him out, robbed him, kicked him in his face over and over again, knocked all his teeth out, whatever that guy wanted to do, smashed him with a skateboard. He hit me with one punch, didn't knock me down. I put my tooth in my pocket and walked towards him calmly. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, like that, I'm like, all right, cool. It was a horrible situation, but could have happened to somebody else. And that's why I know it makes me an empath. Because I'm satisfied knowing that it didn't happen to somebody who couldn't deal with it. It would have been life-changing. It would have been absolutely life-changing. $6,500 later and a new tooth. They got back. So we're in the dentist office and they go, you want, they do like a cartilage or human bone or cow bone. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
They put it in there for like 6 weeks or 8 weeks and it bonds. And they go, so we can do human bone or cow bone. Which one do you want? The cow bone seems to work better. I look right at them and I go, are they brown and black cows? And him and the nurse are like, what?
Uh-huh.
Mom, well, I'm out of farm. I grew up on a farm.
Okay.
Black cows get a lot more solar radiation. They're always the first one in the water. So if you ever go, the black cows are always the first one in the pond. It's because they're so freaking hot.
Yeah.
So my thought immediately, without even like this, that's how fast my brain was working. I was like, I want the healthiest cows to get the most solar. And they were like, we don't know. So they put that in there. And the cool thing is now I'm a mutant. I'm part cow. Even though, come on. If you did a DNA sample on part of my body,
you're a cow.
So
that's hilarious.
So technically, I'm a mutant.
Yeah, so it's really a good thing that you got punched in the face because now you're part cow. I mean,
I'm part cow.
Who wouldn't want that?
Could it happen to somebody better?
Yeah. It was a great thing. That's funny.
One of the keys is when the tooth came out, tried to get him, whatever, picked up my bag, and I'm like, all right, now what? Walked across the street to the local mart or whatever. And I went and got like Listerine and whatever because I was like, oh, this is going to be horrible. I knew it was bad. I hadn't seen myself yet. The Korean guy checking me out had a roll of paper towels and he's looking at me. He's just rolling them out and handing them to me. I was like, it's bad, isn't it? Because there's probably so much blood. And I had scars all the way through here because it went through all the way through. So I just had a bloody face. Listerine. Took the tooth, jammed it in there. Hard as I could. Closed my mouth. Jammed in there as hard as I could. All right, cool. So I got the tooth jammed in there. Here I am, 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock at Venice. I'm staring at a Airbnb like 7 blocks from there because I'm just trying to support him. Flew in, short notice. I got, you know what I mean? Miserable day.
Yeah.
So then, cut my mouth shut the best I could. I come back 2 days later. Of course, I'm a dentist. I got 4 different opinions at the dentist because all of them were like, the first one was like, you did what? And then they showed me an x-ray and they said, it's all the way back in there. I've never heard of it. It's all the way back in there.
That's crazy.
So the 4th one I went to was like, we have to do a root canal, blah, blah, blah. I was like, okay, you're the 4th one who told me that. I believe you now. So what happened was the very tip of it up there, you could barely see it, broke off. So that's why.
Oh, so it's infecting or something, right?
It wasn't. So I shoved it up in there. They put a wire on there. It lasted for almost a year. No discoloration.
What?
They said that I put it so deep in there that it reconnected. It didn't even die or discolor. It never even died over a year. So then I had this foot. Yeah. So it was just instinct. I cleaned it out and I shoved it in there and held it there and shoved it up in there. And you look on the x-ray, it's perfectly. I mean, we're talking, you know, the tooth, that's a half of it. The other half is all, that's twice as long. You ever seen a tooth?
Right. Yeah. It's all up in the gum.
All up in most of the tooth's up in the gum. That's it. Again, it speaks volumes of just in the moment. What can I do? What's an option? Boom, boom, boom. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I'd say that's a pretty good story to cap this thing on. For those who are, I guess, locals, tell them about True Warrior and like what time classes are for everybody and all that.
True Warrior Fitness, mixed martial arts, downtown Mooresville. New gym. I opened it 3 months ago. We have a huge cage in there. We have a ring in there. Huge space, the most mat space in any mixed martial arts or martial arts facility around. It might be at some Taekwondo schools. I'm not competing with those guys. All right. But that's the idea. For mixed martial arts, we are going to be the epicenter of mixed martial arts, not just for Lake Norman, but I think it's going to spread into North Carolina. I want it to. I want to have good relationships with all the other gym teams. I want to have good relationships with the other fighters. I want to have good relationships with everybody. Now there's one gym I don't have a good relationship with. We know who they are. All right. Lake Norman Way Clown. All right. So I don't know if we want to talk about that or we want to save that until afterwards, but maybe after Monday we'll come back up and get an update on that.
Sure.
Right? Yeah.
Oh yeah. You got some stuff going on with
that.
Going on. Yeah. Awesome.
So.
Well, I appreciate you coming on, Coach.
All right.
Thank you.
Cool. Thanks, brother.
Yeah.